Hello everyone. Today, we would like to talk to you about a problem that has been affecting humanity in the last couple decades: microplastics.
What are microplastics? Microplastics are tiny plastic particles that are less than 5 millimeters in diameter. Where do microplastics come from? Well, there are two different sources of microplastics. The first source is primary. The primary source is manufactured small already, and they enter the environment in their tiny forms. For example, synthetic fiber, microbeads, which microbeads are used in personal care products such as cosmetics, toothpaste, and face washes. Plastic pellets, which are used as raw material to manufacture larger plastics. Road markings is a direct source of microplastics that are designed small. The second source is secondary. The secondary source is microplastics that are formed from the breakdown of a large plastic. For example, tire wear. Particles from a car tire breaks off. Duration of a larger plastic. Water bottles, bags, any packaging items can break down through weathering, such as getting hit by the sun, the coldness, the heat. It can vary with the weathering. Washing and drying. Synthetic clothing can shed microplastic fibers while doing laundry. And city dust, which larger plastics are found in landfills and can be broken down over time, especially as in like the duration of larger plastics, it can break down with the weathering as well.
Microplastics can be found in our food, water, and the air that we breathe in numerous ways. In terms of water, microplastics are present in our water filtration system, which means water from our kitchen sink, our showers, and our backyard hoses can all have microplastics present in it. In addition, microplastics can find their way into waterways from runoff from the soil, as microplastics are found in the fertilizer used in farmland. In terms of how microplastics can make their way into our food, said waterways that have microplastics present in them, marine life live in these waters, and it says 98.6% of marine life have microplastics present inside of their bodies, which is the same marine life that we eat and digest. In addition to marine life is one way that microplastics can be found in our food. Microplastics can also be found in our food from the certain utensils and tools that we use in our kitchen. For example, microplastics can be found in our dishwashing sponges, our kettles, our blenders, and even our plastic cutting boards that we use. All of these things that we use in the kitchen can lead to microplastics being present inside of our bodies. In addition to that, microplastics can be present in our air as we rub up against certain fabrics such as fleece. This can cause many molecules of microplastics to be present in the air. In addition, when we wash these fabrics as well, it can produce many microplastics in the air that we breathe.
Since microplastics have been fairly a recent issue, there is not much information on how they can affect our health. However, we still have the research that a group of scientists from Washington performed in 2023, where they proved that microplastics can be extremely toxic to our bodies. In this research, they exposed cells to microplastic particles, and they realized how these microplastic particles brought extreme damage to the cells. In some cases, it even killed them. They continue testing how these microplastics might affect cells by exposing them to different types of cells, like the cells present in our stomach. They saw how it produces an imbalance in your stomach flora, which is the overall health of your stomach. They continue researching, and the research turned out to be worse than expected. Microplastics that are inhaled by us bring extreme inflammation to our airways and respiratory system. Lastly, they saw how fish that are exposed to microplastic in the water can have severe cerebral damage that is brought because cerebral activity is blocked. And the worst part of all of this is that this damage can expand to us humans in a way that we're still not aware of.
Now to talk about these simple steps that are used or can be used to reduce the amount of microplastics. So, first step is to reduce the use of single-use plastic, like utensils and bags and water bottles. We could start to use reusable water bottles, reusable bags, reusable utensils. By limiting the amount of plastic that we use, we will we will reduce the amount of microplastics that there are. We can also start to use more natural material, especially in our clothes. Instead of using polyester and nylon, we could start to use cotton and bamboo clothes. And with using this, because nylon and polyester, they both shed in the wash. They shed off microplastics in the wash while they're being washed. Another thing you could do is they have bags where you can put your clothes in as you put them in the wash, and this will like trap the microplastics in the wash so they won't be like taken down the drain. And also, by properly recycling, we can limit the amount of microplastics that get broken down, the amount of plastics that get broken down into microplastics at landfills and different areas. And also, by speaking up and educating people, together as a whole, we can reduce the amount of microplastics that we have.